Hi everyone, I am back with a new video, and as you can see I'm in queen mode today. In this week's video I actually want to talk about some of the negative things that occur as a painter or as someone who is living their life on their own terms or venturing out against the grain or trying to do something that maybe the family doesn't approve of. And there are two aspects to this, because there's always the outside world saying, you should have a stable job, you should find a secure position in society, you should do this, you should do that. And then there are the doubters and the people who say that you are not going to make it. And all of that I will probably talk about in another video, but in this video I want to talk about how you can actually be your own worst enemy. And this happens usually right at the beginning, when you're still developing and haven't really found your own footing as an artist. It doesn't matter if you're an artist or not, because I think this is true in most fields, when you're just venturing out and you're still very early on in your development. And it's the fact that when we are our worst enemy, we end up, without realizing it quite often, we end up hurting ourselves to the point where we feel like we should give up. And there are going to be people who do that outside of you. So it's important to be your own cheerleader, and this is something I do quite often. I focus on being my own cheerleader, so that no matter what anyone says out there, I am always strong with myself. And one of the ways that we can sometimes be detrimental to ourselves is when we have a pantheon of heroes, when we look up to so many people that have come before us, who inspire us and who motivate us to do what we do. If we don't approach worshipping them in the right way, sometimes we may feel like we are not good enough. And what I mean is, if you have your heroes and you want to be another version of them, you will not succeed, because you cannot be somebody else. You can use them as inspiration because they have paved the way before you, and by doing so they have proved that an individual can pave the way for themselves, and that should be the inspiration. But if you are going to judge yourself against them, what happens is that you start feeling not good enough because you cannot be them. And in trying to be version 2.0 of someone, you will start failing really, because you cannot be that person, and you will start feeling like you're not good enough and that maybe you should give up. And then you start judging yourself even more, because when you're in a negative state you are less creative, and then you feel like maybe you're not cut out for this. And this is a very negative cycle. And we actually all go through this in the beginning, when we feel like, oh, I want to be like so and so, and I want to have that style, and I want to manifest ideas and concepts in that way. It happens very naturally. And I'm not saying you can't learn from other people, definitely. And I'm always looking for techniques from other artists. And for me, especially the way artists come up with ideas, because I love coming up with concepts before I even start painting. So it's, for me, the philosophical side or the conceptual aspect of a painting process is very important. But if you are going to approach your mentors or your masters or your heroes or your idols or whoever they are, if you are going to approach them with this sense of judgment against yourself, you are in a sense insulting them, because you are saying that they are so good, they make you feel bad about yourself. And I really doubt that was their purpose. But the other side, the flip side, is that when you approach it in the correct way, what happens is that you approach them and you have respect for them. You have respect for them being so advanced in their field that you can't help but feel a natural sense of humility. And with that humility comes the understanding that there's so much more to learn, that that person inspires you because of the heights they have reached, and not because you are not good enough. You might reach the height, and you might even fit in with your heroes actually at some point, but you will do so because you are the best version of yourself and not because you are so and so version 2.0. You can't fit a carbon copy in a group of originals. It doesn't work that way. You have to be the best version of yourself, and then you might find yourself amongst your heroes. And if you think about it, what is it that actually connects the people that inspire you? And they, for me especially, because I love a large lineup of artists, and what connects them, again, for me, is not that they paint in the same style or they manifest similar concepts or ideas in their paintings, or they're depicting similar themes or sentiment. It's because they were the best that they could be. They weren't trying to be somebody else. And when I realized that I didn't have to be, we all go through this in the beginning, but once we get over it and we realize we don't have to be somebody else, we don't have to make ourselves or turn ourselves into something we are not to feel good about ourselves. When we discard that whole attitude, suddenly you're open to far more authenticity, and your work tends to be more original, and you start having a lot more fun actually. For me, when this happened, it sort of happened gradually as well. You step out of that old habit of thinking of yourself as not good enough, and then you think, okay, maybe I am good enough, and maybe I have a long way to go, but I can do it because others have done it and they've proven to me that they can do it, so why can't I do it? And then we go forth and we enjoy ourselves more, and as we are more authentic, we learn to be more honest with ourselves, and everything becomes much clearer. And for me, my vision now of what my work is about and what my life in general is about is far more lucid than it was when I was trying to emulate other people because I looked up to them and I loved the way they lived their life, or I loved the way they were as artists. And because of that, I am much happier and my work flows much better. And I think my vision as well is growing and growing. And I feel like there is no limitation to what I can do because I am being original to myself and being authentic as much as possible. And it's something that, you continue working on over time. But that was basically what I wanted to discuss in this short video. Just keep in mind that, especially early on, but this can happen throughout your career or whatever it is that you're doing, that you may occasionally judge yourself against your own heroes, and you have got to stop doing that. It's not worth it. See them as an inspiration to seek within yourself something that is authentic and original to you. Because once you work on yourself that way, the naysayers on the outside, your own weaknesses that may occasionally try to bring you down, they won't really succeed because you are true to yourself at this point, and you will be able to support yourself as your own cheerleader. It is so important to be your own cheerleader. So this was that, a video on how to be the best version of yourself. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will only be posting one video this week, but I hope to see you soon in the coming week with another video. So until then, take care, be good to yourself, and if you do have questions, down in the comments section, please. Alright guys, have a good night or day, wherever you are. Bye.